Tao. Now, we believe that the United States and China are entering into a great period together. We understand the billions and now trillions of dollars that we have borrowed from your great country, Mr. Hu Jintao. And I believe that rather than being an example of greater and greater dependence upon China, we believe that the United States is now entering into a greater period of interdependence with China and the Chinese people. We look forward to a greater period of prosperity and a greater period of interdependence and a greater period of cooperation with one another. Now, in the spirit of this cooperation and period of interdependence here, Mr. Hu Jintao, I, on behalf of my administration and on behalf of the American people, feel the need to make certain demands upon you, Mr. Hu Jintao, and the Chinese government. One thing that has concerned me in my tour of China is that we find that media outlets and the internet are heavily censored, Mr. Hu Jintao, and we found that those who speak out against the Chinese government are often imprisoned. Now, in the United States, as you know, we believe in the First Amendment. We believe in freedom of speech. I personally believe that it is these freedoms, these individual rights and freedoms that are available to all in the United States that has not weakened the United States, but has actually made it stronger. Now this is specifically in regards to those who are imprisoned in China for speaking out against you and the government. Again, I, on behalf of the American people, would like to get a commitment from you, Mr. Hu Jintao, that you will begin to make steps on behalf of the Chinese government to make those individual rights and freedoms available to all. Mr. Hu Jintao. Mr. Hu Jintao, we would like a firm commitment from you, sir, that you will begin to make steps to make those rights and freedoms available to everybody. What do you say? No. Okay, Mr. Hu Jintao, you drive a hard bargain. You drive a hard bargain, sir. Let's see what else. I do have a list of demands here, things that I do feel are important, again, as we enter into a deeper and deeper period of interdependence. Again, we're concerned that there are no elections for your country's national leaders. Again, this is something that we feel that has made our country stronger, is for the people to have a voice in who it is that represents them in the higher tiers of government. Now, Mr. Hu Jintao, we would like steps and a firm commitment to ensure that in the future, this doesn't have to happen tomorrow or next week or even next year, but we would like to see examples, progress, that the Chinese government is working to have elections for their country's leaders. Is that something that you think you can deliver to us? No. Okay, Mr. Hu Jintao, you're a very hard bargainer. I understand. Your government has a way of doing things. We respect the Chinese culture. Let's see what else we can do. Now, another thing that concerns me, Mr. Hu Jintao, is that my concern is that Beijing is holding its yuan currency so low against the dollar that it is stoking a U.S. trade deficit with China, and our concern is that will worsen global economic imbalances. So what I'm trying to say here, Mr. Hu Jintao, is that I feel that the yuan is being kept artificially low to boost Chinese exports. And this is going to unbalance the world government. You must allow the yuan currency to rise. You must, Mr. Hu Jintao. Now, when can I begin to see progress where you're going to allow the yuan to rise and help create a more balanced global economy? Can I expect some progress from you soon, Mr. Hu Jintao?
No.
Okay, Mr. Hu Jintao, this is a matter that is very important to the American people. It's very important to me personally, and it's important to my administration. This is not something that I'm going to just let you sneak by on and not make steps to help correct this imbalance. I need to see some progress in this matter.
No.
Mr. Hu Jintao, you must allow the yuan currency to rise. Can you hear me, Mr. Hu Jintao? You must allow the yuan currency to rise. Okay, Mr. Hu Jintao, let's move on. I can't really hear you, sir, so I'm just gonna keep talking and hope that you're listening to me. Okay, sir? My next point of contention here is that we feel, on behalf of the American people, that you need to resume dialogue with the Dalai Lama. Is that something that you can do, sir? Now, sir, can you hear me? You need to resume dialogue with the Dalai Lama. The entire world is outraged with the relationship between you and Tibet. You need to do something about this, sir. Can we expect some steps, some progress, by which we can expect some real change in the way that you deal with Tibet, sir? I can't hear you, sir. I'm going to assume that you said yes. I'm having great difficulty hearing you. Let's move right along. Now, the next problem that I know many in my country have with China, the next issue, is a question of your emissions, sir. The Chinese government, while you're enjoying your 8-9% annual growth, you're also one of the greatest polluters in the world. Now, we understand, sir, that the United States is not exactly a green country. We understand that. However, we're making steps to begin to change that so that we can combat global warming. Now, we're concerned that you pose a real hazard to the environment. We're hoping that maybe you can change that, sir. Mr. Hu Jintao, can you hear me? Mr. Hu Jintao, can you hear me, sir? Okay, I'm going to assume that you're going to make a good faith effort to begin changing the way that industry happens in your country. Does that make sense, sir? Thank you. Now, let's move right along. I think this has been a great meeting, sir. I think what we need to do now is go ahead and call it here. Now, while I've enjoyed the tour of your country, I think China is a magnificent place. I am going to need a car to the airport. Is that something that you think you can do for me, sir? Sir?